Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today we're going to learn positions in CSS. We're going to learn all the values that this property has and also the ways that we have to position elements in the web browser with CSS. So if you learn something from this video, please press the like button and also subscribe to my channel. This helped me a lot to reach more people, okay? So I have here a slide to share some theory about position with you, and all the things that we're going to see here, we're going to apply it to the code editor and to see how it works, okay, in the browser. So the position is a property, and we have these values to set the position of an element. So the position property in CSS defines how an element is positioned within the document, influencing its place in the flow and its relationship with other elements. So in HTML, we have a flow from top to bottom. So if we create a tag, an H1 tag, and after that a paragraph, it is the order that they will be presented in our browser. Okay, so this is the full behavior. With positions, we can change this. We can change how the elements behave in the browser, where they will be after we change their positions. Okay, so first we have the static value. This is the default, so we don't need to set this value. All the elements of HTML come with this value, so we're never going to set position static to an element in our style sheet, okay? And the default value where the element follows the normal flow of the page, not responding to positioning properties like top or left. So we have these directions that they can change where the element will be. So static doesn't respond to these rules here, but we have relative. Relative is like static. The element is positioned relative to its original position, so it will obey the HTML flow, but we can set an offset using top left without altering the space reserved for it in the flow. So we can change its position with these direction rules, okay? But maybe it will cause some trouble to our layout. So it's not common to use these directions to the relative position, but we can do it, okay? And after that, we have absolute. Remove the element from the normal flows and position it relative to the nearest positioned ancestor, allowing it to be placed at a specific coordinates on the page. So this one is interesting because it doesn't respect the flow, so other elements will be on this element, the element with the absolute position place, okay? So it's like the elements floating in the HTML. We're going to see it in practice in a moment, okay? And we have an interesting thing here because it needs a part element with some position, okay? If we don't do that, the element is linked to the body tag, so it will be positioned in all of our screen, so we don't do that. Commonly, we have a parent element with the position relative, and inside that element we have some children elements with the absolute position, so we have more control where the element will be, okay? And we have fixed. The element is fixed relative to the browser window, so it is with this position that we create the fixed menus, the nav bars that follow the scroll of the browser, okay? They remain the same place even when the page is scrolled, either for headers or persistent buttons, like when we are visiting some e-commerce and we see the product card with the price going with the scroll, okay, and we can press the add cart button when we read about the product in the left area. We see a lot they using it in e-commerce, okay? And also we have sticky that combines characteristics of relative and fixed. So we have the initial behavior of relative, and when we are going to pass that element, it works like a fixed element. So it's an interesting position. And now we're going to see all of them in practice. Okay, so let's go to the code editor. So guys, here I have my code editor opened with two files with some HTML and some CSS that I will give to you. So we're not going to write HTML, just CSS to learn the positions. Okay, so you can get those files in my GitHub. This is the repository link. I will put it down below the description. Okay, so you just need to copy all the HTML content here. Okay, you can copy by clicking in this copy button or in this green button, download zip. Okay, those are two ways that you can get those files. And here you also have the CSS. You just need these 23 lines. Okay, because those other ones are what we're going to see here in practice. Okay, so you can do this little setup, and after that we can go to the class. Okay, so hope you did it, and also I will recommend it to you my HTML and CSS complete course. It is on Udemy, and you can grab it with a special discount. I made a special offer to you that is watching this class. Okay, you can get the link down below in the description. It's a very complete course, like you can see. It has a lot of projects, and here we go from the zero of HTML and CSS to the advanced concepts. Okay, as you can see also the reviews about the course, what you're going to learn. But if you want to give this next step, it's a nice course to master those languages. Okay, so now let's go to the editor. I will put it side by side to the browser. So with the starting template that you have, you're going to have this HTML and CSS here. Okay, so let me just put it side by side. So I will work with the editor in the browser, so I don't need to press the Alt tab and switch the screens. Okay, so let's go. Like I said in the slide, guys, we have the static element here. Okay, I will create the first comment just to separate the concepts. And like I said in the slide, if we add the position glue with static value, we don't see any changes because this is the default behavior. So all the elements of HTML have this position. Okay, and if we try to apply pixels to the top or to the left in this element, it doesn't work because those rules doesn't work with the static position, so we can't do that. Okay, but we can change the positions of the element or where the element will be with the relative position. So like I said, the static we don't use, it's just the default behavior. Going now to the relative, this is where we can see the first changes. If we add to this relative box the position of relative, we don't see any changes now. It remains the same here, but we can add the rules to the top or the left, and now the element will be with those pixels added to its original position. So we have 10 pixels to the top of it and 20 pixels to the left of it, and it is different to the others. Okay, it's something that we can do with the relative. Okay, but it's not nice because we can have like a text here, and if we add more pixels to the top, now it is hiding the text. So it is some behavior that we can get with this position. So in the most of the projects that we work, it's not cool. So we have better ways to do this instead of changing like the position of a relative element and hiding other elements, okay? So we also have the absolute position. Like we saw in the slide, if we just add this position to an element, it will be linked with the parent element. So how it works? When we do that, like you can see here, it's like it's floating because the HTML doesn't respect it anymore in the flow. The other elements are getting the absolute element position, and the absolute element is floating in the screen. But we can add those directions here. It will move the element to that position in the screen, okay? So it's also not cool because we don't have full control where the element will be. So often we don't do this, and what we do is create a parent element, like here, absolute container, and set to this element the position of with the value of relative. And what we get with this is that now the element with the absolute position respects the element with the position of relative because it's the nearest parent element with a defined position, okay? With this setup, we can have more control. I will add here a height of 300 pixels and a border. And as you can see, the element is inside this container. So we have full control of it. And if we change here these directions, it will be referenced to that container. So now this is one of the most common uses of absolute because we have the full control of an element. We can move it freely inside that container, okay? But we need to have a parent element with a defined position, okay? So after that we have the fixed position. This is one of the coolest positions that we have because we can create elements that remain always in the screen, and it doesn't depend the scroll position because it follows the scroll, okay? We just need to add fixed position here, and we can add the directions because we need to put the element somewhere else in our screen, because if we just add the rule, it will be here, like lost in the screen. And most of the times we have some position to it, okay? So like here, top 10 pixels and left 20 pixels, and I will add a background color of green just to differentiate this element from the others. And as you can see, this element is following me as I scroll the page. Okay guys, so next we have the sticky position. So it's like the fixed, but before that it works like the relative element. And here I added a lot of paragraphs just to see in practice what is happening with that element, okay? And if we add here the position sticky, we need to add some value like top 20. So with this top 20, when we have this exact amount of pixels between the start of the screen and the element, it will work as a fixed element. When we have more than that, it will work as a relative. As you can see here, it remains in the same place, okay, following the flow of the HTML, just like the relative element, okay? But if I scroll down, you can see that the element follow my scroll, okay? But if you have more than 20 pixels, it will work like a relative element, okay guys? So it's a different one, okay? But we have some case that we can apply this rule and get the benefits of it. Okay, and it's not from the position rule, but I also have an example of z index here. Okay, so with z index rule we can change the behavior of the elements in the z index of page. Okay, because if we pay attention here, we are working with the x-axis and y-axis, the horizontal axis and the vertical axis, but we also can have control of the deepness of the elements. Okay, and we do this with the z-index. I will have here in the container a position of relative, okay, with a height of 100 pixels and a border of 1 pixel solid red, and the child elements will have the absolute position. I will add the same rules to both elements. And what we get here? We get just the box to appear, but we can have a difference of pixels, like top 10 pixels, left 15 pixels, and now both elements are appearing in this container. But if I want to show the box 1 in front of the box 2, how can I do that? Because it is respecting the HTML flow. The last added element is in front of the first added element, but I can change this with the z-index. And here I just need to set the rule of, I will add a background color here just to different both elements. Okay, and we need that rule that I said to you of z-index. The higher the value, the higher the element will be in the z-index. Okay, so if I put here 3 and in the box 2 that needs to be behind the box 1, the value of 1, I will have the behavior that I was saying to you before the z-index was applied. Okay guys, so it's a good rule when we need to deal with the position absolute and we need to show some element in front of another. Okay, you can work with the z-index to do this work for you. Okay guys, so this is it that I want to show you about the positions. Hope you enjoyed, and if you learned something, if you enjoyed the video, please press the like button and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. And also share this video to other people that want to learn about web development. They will take the benefit from it, they will learn a lot. Okay, and I also have a lot of videos here that you can watch about HTML and CSS, and also our complete course here in Udemy. You can get it with a special offer. Just click in the link down below. Okay, you have a lot of content here. I am updating this course like every week, okay, with new content to have a deep course about those languages that are the foundations of the web development. Okay, every company you work for, if they have web projects, you are going to deal with you are going to work with HTML and CSS. Okay, so you need to learn those languages. You know, the better that you will understand frameworks like React, Angular, Vue, and also full stack frameworks like Django or Laravel. That in the end of the day, you know, all that they generate is HTML and CSS. So you need to master those languages. So I'm waiting for you there. See you in the next video or in this course. See you.